Good day to you. Freezing cold day in the old workshop. I think we're going back into the ice age at the UK at the moment. Right, this project has taken about 6 months to get together. I wanted to buy 3 suitcases which were roughly the same size for the chest of drawer idea for a bedside cabinet, chest of drawers. I have a detailed drawing. I scribbled it on a bit of paper with no dimensions on there. So, oh, there are 2, how wide it is and how high it is. So the rest of it I'm going to make up as I go along, so I haven't got a clue. Now I had this idea of the drawers working, so what I want to do, so as you pull the suitcase up, you can lift it up and put stuff in and then push it back into the drawer hole. I wanted it to be smooth enough to be on runners, but I didn't really want the runners to show. And one idea was to have the drawer runners cut into the drawer. So, but if you see on drawer fronts, to hide the runners, the drawer front is bigger than the actual drawer box itself. So, but I haven't got that luxury. So what I've done is I brought some black runners, and they are from Amazon, and they run really smooth. And it had to be no more than 250 millimeters for it to go on the side of the suitcase. Another idea was to actually cut a hole in the top of the suitcase, so you just pull it out and then you can use this drawer and put it back in again. But I didn't want that because it'll make it all floppy anyway. So the idea is to use runners, set them back as much as I can, and they're black anyway, so they shouldn't show up so much. Now the way I'm going to put it together is a mixture between, I've got the router piece that I did my shaker doors with, so it's going to be a mixture of them with those joints. Open that up. It's going to be a mixture of the shaker style joints, which I did my kitchen doors with. What I really haven't done much of is using the dowels to joint the bits of wood with. So I'm just going to give it a go and use a mixture of the joints and the dowel. That's a dowel jig, Woolcraft dowel jig. The wood is ash. I did a little bit of ash in the bathroom, and it come out. I used Jacobean wax, and it picked out all the. I'll put a picture up now. As you can see, the Jacobean black, for some reason, has decided to sink into the end grain of the ash, and it looks like a tiger, almost like a tiger skin. It's beautiful. So I've decided that I'm going to do the same, but with this, and it's also going to be another test as well. If it works, is that I might change all the kitchen doors to it as well. I know it didn't go down too well. Let's give it a go. Put a face side mark and a face edge. You know that is square to that, and then it just helps you keep track of what bits you've done, especially when you're as old as senile as I am. Now we've got 2 square edges, and we now want to cut it to width. So when you cut it to width, same again, your face marking goes down to the face, and the edge mark goes to the edge, and then put it through. So then you know that side is going to be square with that side. I've left it a couple of mil big because we're going to run it through the thickness to get a nice finish on it. Roughly cut to width. I've left out a couple of mil on there so we can put it through the thickness, get a nice finish on there. There's a lot of thickness in to do. I got these at 32mm. Should have got them a little bit thinner. I didn't know what the state of the timber would be though, so always best to be on the thicker side. Go thickness in. This is the point when it becomes crucial that you've marked the face side and the face edge, because the way the router bit works depends on which way it's up. Sounds complicated? Hold on. This is my detailed CAD drawing, and as you can see, these side panels are going to make up like doors, like I did the kitchen doors. The only difference is there's going to be a cut out groove at the bottom. This is the rail piece I've got at the moment, and if you can see, it runs against the bearing in the middle there, and it cuts the top and bottom piece, and that's with face up on the rail. When I come to do the stiles, all I do then is raise the router bit, and you can see that piece then goes in there, and then it cuts the groove in the stiles. Maximum of this cutter is 22. So all these kitchen door, I did the kitchen doors, I think they were about 18mm they come out to in the end. The two side panels are going to be 22mm, which is a maximum this cutter will do. So what I have to do is raise it up until the bottom of the skirt there, that's the angle cutter piece, is flush with here, and then that will give me the maximum cut of 22mm, and then I'll just run this through. Best way to do it is get a straight edge and bring it out and drop it back just till it starts touching this very slightest movement of the bearing, and then you know that it's in the right place. Just tighten up the fence, and then I can start running through the stiles. I'll do a test piece first just to make sure it's at the right height. That's come out very nice. It's at the right height, and also when what I didn't mention is that when you have a router bit this big, you need to slow it right down. It has on the container we buy it with, which is a maximum speed, but I keep it fairly low because it's if it does come apart, it turns into a missile. So yeah, it needs to come down. Speed needs to come down a bit. So now I'll start running through all the stiles and go on from there. How I'll do the tongue on my rail is I use this sled. You got to guess where it comes from. Might be Axminster. I think I'll show how to use it on the kitchen door video. So I'll put a link to it somewhere there. You can use a normal fence that you can run along the tracks if you wish, but I just spoilt myself really and brought it. Panel cutting time. The grooves are about 9mm from the front of the angle there. So what I'm going to do is get the innermost measurement, and then I'm going to plus, instead of 9 I'm going to put 8, so that's 2, 8, 16. So whatever measurement that is in between the innermost marks, then plus 16, and we should be somewhere near. Just gives a couple of mil to just to move about a little bit. He's got me looking quite beige, got me deep in the haze. There's no more compassion, no. Raise me, I need something fast, I need something to last and give satisfaction, no. Now the stuff that joins it together, I've decided to do in walnut. I thought it would just make a contrast to the ash, the white, the American white ash. One there, And then at the front of the shelves as well, all the supports for the suitcases, I thought I'd put those there. Right, I'm going to leave those to dry now, the two end panels, and then what I'm going to do now is cut the MDF, and then I've biscuit it to the end of this. And these are going to be the front, almost the shelves, but the suitcases aren't sitting on the shelves, they're going to be lifted up 5mm. And then it'll look like the whole shelf is walnut. Cheating, but I couldn't afford the whole walnut shelf. I'll cut them down. Tell me. I'm just dry fitting everything to make sure it all fits in with the shelves and the gap I want at the bottom. There's not going to be enough room for me to have the shelf like that. Unfortunately, it's going to have to go inside like that. That gives me then just enough to get the CPAP machine in. Right then, I made a real cock up with this one. Because I was tight for room, instead of putting the shelf on the top like that, I was going to put it like that. And the observant of people out there will notice that there are 3 slots on the top for everybody to see, because I'm stupid. So now I've got to make some kind of contraption. I thought, well, the way I can get away with it is do it a 45 on there, 45 degree on there, with the mitre, and do it that way. Which isn't the way I really wanted it, but I'm not quite sure how. I mean, that's the only way I can do it. So now, I can't just run this down the side of my fence here, so I've had to come up with a contraption. So the only way I'm going to do it is run it down the fence like that. It's the first time I've used this dowel jig, and from Amazon, and they suggest to use these drill bits, and as you see, it's very sloppy, and so I coughed up some money to buy a German brad point bit, and that's still a bit sloppy, and it shows. I've just dry fitted this together, and it's out by quite a bit. 1mm here is 5mm up there, which is no good really. So it's now turned into a bit of a salvage job. What I might do is actually take these back out, plug and screw these shelves in. It might be me, I don't know. Kind of rubbish. Well, it was never going to be easy sticking a suitcase to a drawer runner, so I think the best thing I could do to keep the case central is use a thin packer, which is about 4mm, on the outside of the case, and on the inside of the case, and then screw through the whole thing to hold this in place. That bit in the case has to be that quite thick, because I mean it's going to be used daily. So I'm just going the screw through. I'm going to cut a fair sized hole through that so the screw don't bind on that, because that split it in half. I'm hoping that'll all hold it together. One way to find out, isn't there? I've had a few issues using the 10-inch draw runners. It would only come out to about there. Now it won't stay open, and I wanted it to stay open. And the only way I can get around that, so I'm going to cut a groove out of there, so just enough so it stays open. Also, you might be able to see there's a nice curve in there, nice cuppage. Now I know that I didn't alternate the grain, and I did have a feeling this was going to happen, because if I alternated it then I wouldn't get the white ash on the top. It would just be all pink, and I didn't want that, so I thought I'll chance it, see what happens. And then what happened is it cupped. So I'll try and pull that down as much as I can. My wife's just come in and said she wouldn't buy it. No accounting for taste, is there really? She is finished, finally. It's been one of the longest projects I've done. It has turned out like I drew it on my special plans that I did with a CAD. It's kind of come out as envisaged. So I've had to cut this slot out here. The reason for that cut out there is so this lid will stay up. That's the only way I can get it to stay up. This middle one doesn't stay up, and there's nothing I can do about it. And then this one stays up if I close the clips on there. Not just one in a million stars. I just wanna dance, dance.